The Equalizer 2 once again pairs director Antoine Fuqua with Denzel Washington, who once again plays Robert McCall, the retired CIA agent perfectionist who helps people out in his spare time. The first movie was an enjoyable adaptation of the old TV series, acting as kind of a setup to the show, where he would help different people out each episode. And I honestly quite enjoyed that first movie. I've always enjoyed the work that Denzel and Antoine have done together, and of course Denzel is always on point. And of course that first movie was released during a period of older guys going out and kicking ass, where the Taken series was wrapping up and John Wick was just starting, so of course Denzel had to be a part of that conversation. And as a result we got a decent action flick, where the hero just got the job done. He was in and out. He clocked how long it took him to take people out. He was super neat and precise and never messed up. So it was entertaining to see someone who wasn't messy with how he did his business. Robert knew exactly what he needed to do. Unfortunately, Equalizer 2 marks a significant step down, which really sucks because this is the first sequel that Denzel Washington has ever done. The movie picks up a few months after the original, where Robert is now a Lyft driver. And boy, wouldn't you know it, they try and get as many Lyft puns in as humanely possible. Robert uses this as a kind of modern way of getting around to help people in need. Some girl is in trouble, Robert will take care of the guys giving her a hard time. A criminal has kidnapped someone's daughter, Robert will take care of it. This tries to keep the spirit of the show intact, where the show is about all these different errands that Robert would go on. Unfortunately, the movie decides this is the only piece of storytelling needed to keep our attention, because the actual advertised plot of Robert's friend getting killed and him getting revenge doesn't kick in for 40 minutes. Seeing Robert do his thing would have been fun if there wasn't such a lazy progression to it all. Yes, we get some fun action scenes sprinkled throughout, but for most of the film you're just watching Robert chat to clients about their lives, watching him go to dinner with his friends, or try to be a role model to this young boy Miles. These elements are here, but they never feel like they have a point to them, aside from the plot involving Miles. There's such a slow progression to it all that makes you wonder if anything of interest is actually going to happen. As you're watching, it just makes you wonder where the hell this movie is going. It just seems so uninterested in getting you anywhere anytime soon. And look, I don't mind slower paced movies, but this is the Equalizer 2, a movie advertised with Denzel Washington running around with a gun. Things should be happening much faster, and it sucks. I've always enjoyed the work that Denzel and Antoine have done together. Training Day was awesome. I really dug their version of Magnificent Seven, but for some reason that magic isn't here, no matter how effortlessly awesome Denzel is. All I can say is at least he isn't sleepwalking throughout this movie, because he very easily could have. The movie does pick up significantly in the last hour, and the big showdown in the final act, which of course has to take place in the middle of a giant storm for added dramatic effect. The scenes are fine and provide the action that everyone coming to an Equalizer movie is expecting, but the build up to get there is a drag. The movie is all about tying up loose ends, and Robert missing his wife and his glory days in the CIA. And the plot does eventually get to that side of things, but again, it doesn't seem too interested in getting us to those points. You just really needed another cut of this movie that better integrated these stories. We needed the hook of this movie far earlier on. Then bring in the subplot of trying to be a role model to the younger generation. Don't spend half an hour just on this boy Miles and then go, oh, actually we need to get back to the main plot. It feels like it's trying to be a TV show having an A plot and a B plot that eventually converge into each other, except the A plot just gets pushed to the latter half of the episode. We're just left wondering when things are going to kick in, and it's a major disappointment, especially since most of the performances are quite good. Pedro Pascal does a fine job as this old CIA partner of Robert's, and he has some decent scenes when acting opposite Denzel. His character is quite integral to the movie, but doesn't show up for quite some time, and actually made me forget that Pedro was in the movie at all. I like what Pedro brings to the character, but ultimately what the movie does with Pedro Pascal's character is quite predictable, and it's something we've seen many times in these types of spy thrillers. When the action does kick in with this movie, we get some fairly decent showdowns. Nothing mind-blowing, but actually a bit more violent than I remember the first movie being. This movie definitely tries to open up Robert's skill set with some really brutal kills that he performs. There's especially one fight that takes place inside a car that I found to be closer to what we got in the first movie, and I really did find it quite enjoyable. But it's been no secret that Sony, who are releasing the movie, haven't done a whole lot of marketing for the film. And once you've seen the film, you can tell that was quite deliberate. Trailers and posters for the movie came quite late, and when trailers did come out, there wasn't a whole lot of hype around them. So rather than trying to beef the marketing up to get more eyes on the film, I think Sony were just hoping to quietly release it so that if it did flop at the box office, there wouldn't be a whole lot of attention drawn to it. It definitely sucks, considering we had 4 years to wait between this and the first movie, and this for some reason was the best effort that we got. I appreciate there being a little more attention to make this a more personal movie for our hero, but again, it just feels like the movie isn't interested in providing us with these details, and would rather fill out the time with unnecessary errands, no matter how much they pay homage to the old show. Equalizer 2 is sadly a snooze fest, and a big disappointment from a directing and acting duo that have provided far better in the past. The Equalizer 2 gets a 4.5 out of 10 from me. Guys, I hope you like this review. If you want to see more reviews just like this one, stay right here for your Monofix. Bye guys.